Good morning. I am happy to be here with you all. I've had all of 10 minutes to study my remarks. So initially, these were intended for the commissioners of Swadera Township. However, I am a supervisor in Lower Paxton Township. So I made history when I was elected on November 3rd of 2023 by being the first African American elected to the Board of Supervisors in Lower Paxton Township. And I have been doing my level best to help VP Harris become a member of the First Club. And I was door knocking this weekend for Patty Kim over in Stray Winds in Lower Paxton Township. So we are doing all that we can to get out the vote. I am thrilled that Mrs. Walz is here today in Harrisburg, so we want to give her a great big welcome, please. The reason that we got the honor of hosting Mrs. Walz here today is because Dauphin County is so crucial in this election. Actually, I believe we got the message that it's the whole state of Pennsylvania. The choices that we have here, people in this room, will help decide this election. And in front of us are two starkly different visions for our future. On one side, we have a candidate who time and time again has shown that the only thing that motivates him is the two-letter word, me, M-E. For Donald Trump, the question is always, what's good for me? Is it beneficial to me to send COVID tests to Putin in Russia? As president, he has shown us that he did not care 1 cent about Pennsylvania families. In his first term, Trump killed over 275,000 of our jobs here in the Commonwealth. See, while Trump was on the campaign trail, he promised to bring back jobs to the Commonwealth. But as soon as he got the keys to the Oval Office, he turned his back on PA workers. While families that I serve here in the Harrisburg area, Lower Paxton Township specifically, were struggling to make ends meet, Trump was dining at Mar-a-Lago with his billionaire friends, who he plans to give tax breaks to once again. As much devastation and chaos that Trump's first term caused, a second would be much, much worse, because the guardrails would be completely off. This time, Trump and his MAGA allies have come up with an agenda, Project 2025. And as a retired elementary school teacher who taught second grade for a number of years, Project 2025, as it relates to education, scares me to death. That grants Trump unprecedented, virtually unchecked power to do whatever he wants. His Project 2025 agenda promises to ban reproductive freedom nationwide, even in cases of rape and incest. He will enact a Trump sales tax that will slap a nearly 4,000 tax on PA families each year. That's not helpful to us. An additional $4,000 out of our income? No. He will jack up the cost of groceries, make housing more expensive, and make day-to-day life much more difficult for Pennsylvanians. Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Walz's vision for the future could not be more different. Their guiding principle is simple: what will make life better for working families? Vice President Harris is committed to building an economy where working families don't just get by, but we get ahead. She'll cut taxes for working and middle-class families, work to end the housing shortage, and fight to lower costs for everything from groceries to prescription drugs, which they've already done. The Biden-Harris administration already lowered the price of insulin from $400 a month down to $35 a month so that people don't have to make choices as to whether or not, okay, am I going to skip my insulin dose today and pay this bill? Well, they don't have to make that, they don't have to have that internal conversation anymore. Additionally, she is the only candidate in the race that will restore our fundamental freedom to choose what we do with our own bodies. The stakes of this election could not be higher. I'm freezing here, my fingers. Okay. We have 21 days left, so let's knock on every last door, call every last undecided voter. And Harrisburg, let's cast our ballots, let's get out the vote, and let's elect Vice President Harris and Governor Walz this November. Thank you. I will pass it over to State Representative and Champion of Real Freedom, Patty Kemp.
Please welcome to the stage Pennsylvania State Representative Patty Kemp.
Good morning, everyone. I'm State Representative Patty Kemp, and it is such an honor to welcome the First Lady of Minnesota, Gwen Walz, to Harrisburg. Just met her in the back. She's a very lovely woman. You're probably going to hear this a lot. We only have 21 more days until this important election. Just 21 days to turn the page on Trump and his chaos and division. I don't say turn, I say kick Trump out so that we can stop this chaos and division. 20 days is not a lot of time. I hope after 21 days my stomach ulcer is better, but it is enough time to make a real difference. It is enough time to change someone's mind, to help someone make up their mind, to register just one person to vote, and most importantly, to get them to the polls. Mrs. Walz will not be here in Harrisburg if Harrisburg was not extremely important to this election. She is here today because we will decide the election. We have a unique opportunity to shape the future of our country for decades to come because it's our votes, our power, to make sure that our neighbors and friends and family will decide who is the next president of the United States. The election is very close. It's actually too close. That's why I have my stomach ulcer. And to win it will require us to fight it. And if I know anything about Ask Me unions, they know how to fight. We all remember when Donald Trump handpicked Supreme Court justices, overturned Roe v. Wade, ripping away our fundamental freedoms and reigniting a long, settled battle. Now, more than 1 in 3 women of reproductive age live under a Trump abortion ban. Doctors face jail time just for following the oath they swore to. Women are bleeding in parking lots. Incest and rape victims are forced to carry their pregnancies to term. As a woman, this is unspeakable reality. We must do everything we can to restore our freedom so our children, like my 20-year-old daughter, will have the same protections we once had. Because Donald Trump will not stop at overturning Roe, if he gets a second chance at the White House, we all know he has a plan to ban abortion nationwide. The stakes are too high, folks, but the contrast, the choice in this race is crystal clear. Donald Trump and his MAGA allies will drag us into the past. Vice President Harris and Governor Tim Walz will propel us to the future. We know the principles we stand for and the sort of future we want. So let's go out there and fight for it. Let's get out there and work our tails off like many of you already are. And between all the door knocking and the phone banking, we're going to be doing what we're going to be doing. Why not cast our ballots early? I did. So easy. Fill out those little bubbles and send it back, and we're done. Go to iwillvote.com to make a plan and tell all your friends, even your enemies. Let's get them all out to the polls. Let's get this done and elect Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, and Democrats up and down the ballot in November. Let's do this!
Please welcome to the stage Diane Roy Smith.
Hello, my name is Diane Roy Smith, and I'm a proud member of the American Federation of State, City, and Municipal Employees, Council 13. It's an honor today to be here to welcome Ms. Gwen Walz to Harrisburg. I come from a union family, and I've been a union member for over 30 years, ever since my mother, who was an active member of ASME, encouraged me to join. In 2014, I became the first African-American president of Council 13. Correction, Council 89. Now I'm looking just at under 24 months to retire, and my goal is to retire with a president who will stand by the working class, protect unions, and preserve my retirement. Yes. That president will be Kamala Harris. The path to victory this November runs right through Pennsylvania, and yes, right through Harrisburg. The people in this room have the power to decide this election and the responsibility to make their voices heard. As a union member and a woman, the choice on the ballot couldn't be any clearer. On one side, we have Vice President Harris and Governor Walz, and who have had the backs of workers, the middle class, and yes, women at every stage of their career, and who will protect the rights in the White House. On the other, we have Donald Trump, who sold out Pennsylvania workers, and his sidekick, J.D. Vance. Trump promised to bring jobs to our state. Instead, he killed over 275,000 good-paying Pennsylvania jobs, 15,000 which were sent overseas. And to make matters worse, while Pennsylvania families are struggling, he passed a tax bill where over 80% of the benefits went to the ultra-rich. J.D. Vance isn't any better. He consistently opposed the PRO Act. As senator, he introduced legislation that would gut landmark labor laws and ban collective bargaining. Behind closed doors, Trump and Vance are promising more handouts to billionaires and corporations, while Project 2025 agenda would raise the cost of Pennsylvanians' families by nearly $4,000 a year. We can't afford that. Their Project 2025 would make it harder to join a union, cut overtime pay, and weaken child labor laws too. This would wreck our economy, raise costs on working families, and destroy Pennsylvania jobs. Their Project 2025 agenda would ban abortion nationwide without the help of Congress or the courts. Meanwhile, Vice President Harris is committed to building an economy where working families don't have to just get by, we can get ahead. Thanks to her, we've made a great strides towards that aim, and we only are going to go further. Under Vice President Harris' leadership, more than 500,000 good-paying jobs have been created in Pennsylvania. She supports the PRO Act. She's joined union workers on the picket lines, and she will cast the deciding vote on legislation that's saving 1 million union workers' pensions. Workers everywhere feel the impact. It's why ASME and major unions across America have endorsed Vice President, because we know she fights for us. And because we know this, we're going to show out and force for her and Governor Walz at the polls and elect our next president and vice president. Now, I'm so honored to introduce the First Lady of Minnesota and soon to be Second Lady of the great United States, someone who's always been a champion for workers and working class Americans, women, and children, Miss Gwen Walz.
Good morning. Good morning. It is so nice to be in Harrisburg. I gotta get my mic on. Is it on? It's on. It's on. Okay. What a festive day here. I love this, right? The apples, the pumpkins, the hay bales, and all of you. So happy fall. Thanks, Diane, for your introduction. Where did you go? Right here. Thank you so much. Did everybody see those shoes? Yeah. Right? Great. And thanks to our hosts, ASME Local 13. Yes. You make Pennsylvania happen. So thank you. It is great to be with so many terrific local leaders, including State Rep Kim, yes, right? Yes. And Supervisor Thompson. Yes. And of course, all of you, the mighty women for Harris. Yes. Kamala and Tim, as you know, are underdogs in this race. But I know that we can and we will win. You know why? Because we have you. That's why. Yes. You are knocking doors. I've been checking and making calls and registering voters and winning votes, one neighbor at a time. I know it's not easy work, but it is necessary work. So thank you. Thank you all for all that you're doing. It is my privilege, and such a privilege, to be with you in this fight. You know, Tim feels the same way, and so does Kamala, and so does Doug. It wasn't that many weeks ago when I was knocking doors and making calls in my home state of Minnesota. Yeah, oh, go Gophers, right? Yes, thank you. And then Tim got a call from Vice President Harris. And I kid you not, one of my first thoughts was, I have got to find someone to cover my call shifts. Ever since, I've been traveling all over this country. In fact, this is my second trip to Pennsylvania in just the last week, right? And everywhere I go, people are fed up with Donald Trump. Yep, yes. But even more than that, they are fired up for a new way forward. Yes. Now, for 9 long years, Trump has been trying to divide us, pitting neighbor against neighbor, friend against friend, because he sees a world where only a few can get ahead, while the rest of us get left behind. Hasn't it just been exhausting? Yes. Well, Kamala and Tim have a different vision. A future where everyone is included and where everyone can chase their dream. Now, I'm an English teacher. Yeah? Woohoo! And we know that words matter. So when we say everyone, we don't mean some of us, or I'd say some of us. We even don't mean only those who vote for us. We mean all of us. We mean everyone, because everyone means everyone. Let's do it again. Everyone means everyone. Oh, you are good. You are good. And that's why Kamala and Tim are fighting for middle-class families like the ones they grew up in. And they have real plans to give you a tax cut, to lower the cost of health care, and to help you buy a home. Right? Yeah. But our opponents in this race do not share that vision. Trump and Vance are not fighting for us. That's clear. They are fighting for themselves. They're fighting for their rich donors and their extreme allies. And what they're offering with that Project 2025 agenda, no one is asking for. Well, I'm a longtime teacher, and in my classroom, we believe in facts. So here are a few. Donald Trump overturned Roe, and that's a fact. Yes. And if he wins, he will ban abortion nationwide, including in Pennsylvania, and that's a fact, right? And he won't stop there. He'll even go after IVF, and that's a fact. That's right. That is a lot. Those are a lot of facts right there. Now, this is personal. Tim and I were only able to start our family because we had access to fertility treatments. And it was hard. It was really hard. But it was so worth it. We cannot imagine our lives without Hope and Gus. And we cannot fathom anyone being denied the joys of parenthood. Well, when it comes to decisions about our own bodies and our own lives, it is our choice. Say that with me. It is our choice. And we should have the freedom to build our families how we choose, because it is our choice. Or we should have the freedom not to have children at all, because it is our choice, not J.D. Vance's. No. And heaven forbid, not Donald Trump's. No. So, we do not take too kindly to bullies telling us when or if or how to start our families. So in this election, we are going to send them a message that is loud and clear. So I'm going to put on my teacher glasses right now for this. And if you have teacher glasses, you can put them on too. Okay? And I'm going to use my teacher voice. And here's my message to them. Mr. Trump and Mr. Vance, please mind your own business. Yes? Now, even if you're not a teacher, I want you to use your teacher voice, because maybe you heard a stern teacher voice once or twice, or at least you just heard mine. So will you say that with me? Yeah? Okay, here we go. We're going to say, Mr. Trump and Mr. Vance, please mind your own business. And then that's a line you can use out there. Ready? Here we go. Mr. Trump and Mr. Vance, please mind your own business. Oh, very good. Very good. I don't know about you, but I am ready to turn the page on those guys. And it is up to us, all of us, to make that happen. I know here in Pennsylvania, you are carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. I see it in all of you, and I feel some of that too. But I want you to know this, and this is part of why I'm here today. I am right here with you to do this together. And so is Tim, and so is Doug, and so is Kamala. Because what we know is that we are all in this together. That's right, it is together. Now, my mom says this when I was growing up. She'd say, Gwen, you have to do the work that's in front of you. She still says that. And growing up, I thought that meant the dishes. And it probably did. But she also meant something broader. She meant that I should see with my own eyes what the work was. See with my own vision what the work was in my family and my neighborhood and my school, my community, my state, my church, and now my country. And she was asking me to think through how I could bring my own talents, my own time, my own experiences to make a difference. Well, everywhere I go, I see people doing the work that is in front of them. I met a group of 6 ladies in Las Vegas, and they were like in fancy dresses and high heels. And we were getting ready for a door knock. And they told me that before this election, they had never canvassed. But they felt like it was so important that right now, right here, they were doing that. They were canvassing. They had to do something. So they started door knocking every day. And when I met them, they had been doing that for 13 days straight. And I said, in those shoes? And they said, yes. And we're going to keep knocking every day until Election Day. They are listening to my mom. They're doing the work in front of them. And I thought, if they can do it, we can do it too. Can't we? Yes. Yes, we can. Election Day is 3 weeks away. I know, I can't believe it either. 3 weeks. And we have a lot of work in front of us. But when we do that, we are going to elect Kamala and Tim and Democrats up and down the ballot. That's right. And you know this. You know this. Women for Harris can make the difference in this race. So ladies, and great men who are along too, we need to listen to my mom, even though she's not here. Will you keep knocking doors and making calls? Yes. Will you keep helping your loved ones make a plan to vote? Yes. And if they aren't registered, will you help them get on the voter rolls by October 21st? Yes. I thought so. I thought so, Pennsylvania. It is crunch time. But you know what Tim says? We'll sleep when we're dead. You've heard that? Now, I'm more moderate. I think we can take a nap after the election, right? But probably not till then, okay? A new way forward is within our reach. It is right there, but we are going to have to fight for it. And we are going to have to fight for it harder than we have ever fought before. But I believe we will. And we can. I see it in your Pennsylvania strength. I see it in your eyes. I see it in your resolve, even on this cold morning, right? It feels like fall. In this cold morning to be here and to commit to do it. And I take my marching orders from the next president of the United States, Kamala Harris. Yeah. Let me say that again, because doesn't that sound great? The next president of the United States, say it with me, Kamala Harris. And she says, when we fight, we win. Pennsylvania, when we fight, we win. One more time, Pennsylvania, when we fight, we win. So let's get to work.